we lost another preseason game. We're 1-2 in the preseason. Yep. In both those games, we shot under 50%. That's what happens. If you're going to shoot bad, you're going to lose games, especially close ones in overtime by 5 points. Yeah, we did it again. Lost another one in overtime in the preseason. Hopefully we're just getting these out of the way. That's my take on it. Ideally, you lose preseason games. Ideally, you lose overtime games now. You won't lose them in the postseason or the regular season. Then it's fine. But no, some highlights from the game. None. I even checked ESPN's to see what they had for highlights of the game. Nothing stood out to me. Naz Reid drained a 3-pointer is all they gave us in terms of a single highlight. And guess what? You guys want to know how many 3-pointers Naz Reid made tonight? 1. And that was the single highlight they gave us, was him draining a 3. Other highlights, I guess you could look at Rob's 5 assists as a good thing. He came off the bench and played a whopping... There he is. He played a whopping 22 minutes off the bench tonight. 10 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Yeah, it's good enough. That's a good game for him, I guess. It's development. 4 for 11, 2 for 3 from 3. Rob's a bright spot. Terrence Shannon Jr., absolute bright spot. He has easily worked his way into the lineup this year. 8 total rebounds. Wow, he was stealing them up tonight. 3 turnovers, though. He's got to fix that. That's a problem. And I think it just comes down to how lackadaisical he passes the ball sometimes. And it's fine. He's going to figure it out. And he's going to be a good rotational guy for us. Someone else who has definitely stood out to me and is a bright spot in this team is Johnny Juzang. In only 13 minutes, he shot 3 for 7, 2 for 4, and had 8 points. I want this guy to be on the lineup consistently this year. I'm talking like 15 to 20 minutes. Not 20. 15 minutes a game, probably tops, but I want him to come in, be a spark plug, and maybe be our 9th, 10th guy off the bench. He's earned it at this point. He's proven why he's worth it. And I think certain guys like Jalen Clark have probably played their way out of minutes that Johnny Juzang could probably snatch up. But no, I think those are the bright spots of this game. That was a loss. We kind of got to look at what the starting lineup would look like if Dante was starting instead of Conley. Don't love it. I don't love it. The assists were just not there in total with these guys on the starting. 27 minutes for Ant, 22 for Dante, or 24 for Dante, 22 for Rudy, 23 for Jaden, 23 for Randall. So they played a bit tonight. 1 assist for Randall, 2 for Jaden, 2 for Rudy, 3 for Dante, 0 for Ant. That's not winning basketball, especially not when Anthony Edwards is shooting 6 for 17, 2 for 7. And that's going to get us into our next point here. The shooting woes, guys, they have to somewhere they have to be fixed. Whether that's at practice or maybe it's a new player, we'll get to that later. But something has to be figured out here because we can't keep shooting 15 for 57 from 3 and think that's okay. 26% from 3. That's horrible. For example, Jordan... Oh, that's not our team. Sorry, we shot 39%. Holy oh my... Yeah, the Knicks shot horribly from 3, and we still lost this game. Might be a defensive problem. 15 for 57 from 3 is wild by the Knicks. I'll own that up. I misread. We shot 39%, 15 for 38. That's still not great. By the way, Jordan Clarkson, 0 for 6 from 3. Yikes. Still not a good game by the Timberwolves by any means. Naz Reid shooting 1 for 6. Not ideal for him. Not ideal. You gotta, you can't keep having these games where you just shoot horribly. Figure it out in practice. Come prepared for games. Finch does not coach these guys up. We know we're going to have to outshoot the Knicks. They're a good team who are going to shoot a lot and hold us under 100. Honestly, they're going to do that in the regular season. They're a good defensive team in my eyes, even though a lot of people say they're not because now you have Kat and Jalen Brunson on the same team. Neither of them are good defensive players. They still have some good defensive pieces on the team that I like. But end of the day, this isn't a team that we can just take half-assed and not take seriously. Um, I'm disappointed with this game all in all. I'm not really thrilled just with what I'm seeing. And these shooting problems, Finch has got to figure it out. There has to be a solution here. Like the best shooter on the team tonight was Terrence Shannon Jr. again. 3 for 3 from three. Say that 5 times fast. He was absolutely like the best thing that could have happened to this team on three. It makes no sense to me how we're shooting this poorly still. It was a problem last year. It's going to be a problem this year unless it's fixed by October 24th. Figure it out. That's it, Finch. And the next thing, the consistency needs to happen. No more of these hot and cold games, guys. Like, Ant, you can't just put up every shot you want. Sure, shoot 17 times a game. That's expected. Make more than 6 of them. Take smart shots that aren't going to be a waste of time and actually make them count. You're putting up 17 shots and you're only scoring 17 points. Figure out how to get to the line on those. Figure out how to make a 3. Like, you shot 2 for 7 from 3 and you only shot 4 free throws. That's not necessarily winning basketball. That's just, I don't even know what to call that. 27 minutes and you put up 17 shots and 17 points. Huh? You're our number one option. Figure it out. And also, be able to create shots for others. You want to take the next step in your game, Ant? Be able to come in and get assists. Get your guys open looks. You're drawing attention. You know guys are open. And you're leading to 0 assists. That doesn't just fall on him either. It falls on the other guys being streaky as hell tonight. If Ant is swinging the ball to you, get open, make your shots. He's done all the work to get you an open look. Finish it for him. You know, at the same time, you got to help each other out. And that's the best way to do it. You know, if someone is going to get you the ball, finish your job. Because coming off the bench, guess how many assists we have on our bench? 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 12. But, I mean, that's 7 combined assists for everyone else who played off the bench and 5 from Rob. What does that tell you about the guys that we are playing a lot of these preseason minutes to? No, I mean, Rob had as many assists as 3 of our starters combined. 4 of our starters combined, if you want to play that game. It's unacceptable. He only had, 3 less than all 5 starters combined. Clearly, he's a shot creator, but he's not great offensively, and he's a liability defensively. So we got to figure it out, because if we're going to play inconsistent, we're going to lose a lot of close games versus games that we could win if we just had a little bit of consistency. And that consistency is easily found when you trade for a shooter. It was talked about all of last year. The biggest problem on the Timberwolves was that there was no consistent shooting. Dante's a good shooter. Nas is a good shooter. Ant turned into a good shooter. Randall can be a good shooter. Jaden needs to take the next step in his game to be a good shooter, and Rudy's going to be Rudy. Mike Conley's good for a bucket or 2 of the game, but I'm not asking Mike Conley to make 5 threes in a game for us. I'm asking him to come out, be a locker room guy, and get some assists. That's it. We need to trade for someone who can consistently shoot. Now, who is that? I don't know. I think there's tons of great options out there. Lots of cheap guys right now. I think Buddy Hield on the Warriors would be a great option to go get. Are they willing to trade him? Probably not. I think he'd be great, though. I would like to go get, I don't even know. There's so many options for 3-point shooters that it's like, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. Let's go get someone who can be that shooter. Someone who's been in a 3-point contest. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Someone random like that. Because a lot of those guys are great shooters and that are just looking for their opportunity. So let's just go get a shooter. I can't stress it enough. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the highest 3-point shooter last year. I'm trying to type through my keyboard right now. All right, percentage leaders. Let's take a look at last year's 3-point percent. Okay, wow. Yeah, we're going to get some weird names in here because, no, I don't. Just give me regular season. Come on. Okay, that's this year's stupid computer. Yeah, thanks so much for showing me. How about a few more games and one game played a year? All right, if we're looking at 82 games played in a year, if these are the guys who played the most games and their shooting percentage, we could go get Bub Carrington, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Julian Champagnie, Malik Beasley. We could sign. I would sign Malik Beasley if it meant we're going to get consistent shooting. Unfortunately, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is one of those 38% shooter for us last year. That was pretty cool. Um, and it's also just not going and getting obvious guys like Tyus Jones would have been a great one to bring back to Minnesota for once. Didn't try to go get him. Even someone like Keon Ellis, who's in Sacramento, they might be looking to rebuild. Played 80 games from last year, shot 43%. I'll take that. And that's only on not a ton of minutes every game either. He was playing, yeah. But the point is that there's lots of options. There's a handful of guys who could easily come in and play solid minutes and be a consistent shooter when we need a shooter in the game. We have shooters, but I want an absolute lock of a shooter. I want someone who can just be a dagger when we say, go get in the game. That's my thoughts on this game. No basketball until Monday. We'll be back to break down that game on Sunday night. And until then, you guys all take care, and we hopefully will see a winning game on Monday night.